Canada has announced a landmark $3.1 billion partnership with Greenland, capturing worldwide interest and setting a new standard for Arctic cooperation. This isn't just about money, it's a visionary move toward a shared future in a rapidly changing region. This agreement marks the beginning of a fresh era in the Arctic, built on collaboration, mutual goals, and a strong focus on sustainable development in the North. Instead of a race for control, this is a comprehensive investment in shared prosperity, environmental stewardship, and scientific progress. Both countries are committed to protecting the fragile Arctic environment while creating new opportunities for their people. The news is being celebrated in both Ottawa and Nuuk as a model of respectful partnership, moving beyond old colonial mindsets. It's a fresh approach that values equality and working together. For Greenland, this deal is a major step toward economic self-reliance and the ability to chart its own course with a trusted partner. Local business owners, families, and communities are hopeful that this alliance will bring real, lasting benefits. Unlike past aggressive tactics, this agreement rejects the idea of the Arctic as just a resource to be exploited. Instead, it sees the region as a shared home and a place for innovative solutions. Canada's investment supports infrastructure, environmental research, and cultural ties, helping both nations thrive while respecting Indigenous knowledge. This partnership is a clear commitment to a peaceful, cooperative Arctic, where decisions are made together and benefits are shared fairly. As Arctic ice continues to melt and the world's attention shifts north, this agreement is a proactive step to ensure growth is guided by sustainability and local leadership. It's about protecting the Arctic for future generations while embracing progress and fresh ideas. Canada is sending a strong message. The goal is a vibrant, united Arctic built on trust, where local voices are heard, and the future is shaped by those who call the North home. Greenland, the world's largest island, sits majestically between the Arctic and Atlantic Oceans, acting as a natural bridge between North America and Europe. Its vast, rugged expanse is not only a geographical marvel, but also a region of immense strategic importance. This unique position makes Greenland a critical hub for global shipping routes, transatlantic aviation, and international security operations. As Arctic sea ice diminishes, new shipping lanes are opening, further increasing Greenland's relevance in global trade and defense. Over 80% of Greenland is blanketed by a massive ice sheet, making it a focal point for climate change research. Scientists from around the world study its glaciers to understand rising sea levels and the planet's changing climate, as Greenland's ice plays a crucial role in regulating global temperatures. As the ice retreats, vast reserves of minerals and energy resources such as rare earth elements, oil, and gas are being uncovered. These discoveries offer Greenland a potential path to economic independence, but also raise complex questions about environmental sustainability and the preservation of fragile Arctic ecosystems. The majority Inuit population has a deep ancestral connection to the land and sea. Today, they are increasingly asserting control over Greenland's future, balancing tradition with modernity and ensuring their voices shape the island's destiny. Greenland is an autonomous territory within the Kingdom of Denmark, managing most of its own affairs. Its government is determined that any development, whether economic or social, directly benefits local communities and respects Indigenous rights. Greenland's significance lies not only in its strategic location and resource potential, but also in the resilience and vibrancy of its Indigenous culture, which continues to thrive amidst rapid change. Any serious Arctic policy must recognize Greenland as a sovereign-minded partner, respecting its autonomy and aspirations, rather than viewing it as a mere commodity or geopolitical pawn. As the century unfolds, Greenland's role as the Arctic's crown jewel will only grow, shaping the future of the region and the world. In 2019, President Donald Trump stunned the world by expressing interest in buying Greenland from Denmark. The announcement came seemingly out of nowhere, catching both allies and adversaries off guard. Trump's vision was to expand American territory, but the idea was met with disbelief and confusion across the globe. The proposal was widely ridiculed and condemned as outdated and disrespectful, treating Greenland as a commodity rather than a homeland. Many saw it as a throwback to colonial times, ignoring the deep cultural and historical ties the Greenlandic people have to their land. Denmark's prime minister called the idea absurd, emphasizing Greenland's autonomy and the rights of its people. Greenland, while part of the Kingdom of Denmark, has its own government and a strong sense of national identity. The diplomatic fallout was swift, with Trump canceling a state visit and straining U.S.-Danish relations. What could have been a routine diplomatic engagement turned into a public dispute making headlines worldwide. Trump's approach ignored Greenland's self-governing status and the principle of self-determination. Greenlanders voiced their opposition, making it clear that their future was not up for negotiation. The U.S. already operates Thule Air Base in Greenland, but outright ownership was seen as a power grab for resources and strategic advantage. The Arctic's growing importance in global politics made the proposal even more controversial. The episode highlighted the dangers of transactional top-down foreign policy in a modern world built on respect and partnership. It showed how easily trust can be eroded when local voices are ignored. The backlash reinforced that countries and peoples are not for sale. Greenlanders stood together, sending a powerful message to the world about sovereignty and dignity. Greenland's firm refusal set a precedent for Arctic diplomacy. It reminded the world that respect for local populations is essential in international relations. The legacy, mistrust, and a reminder that sovereignty and respect matter in the North. The episode remains a cautionary tale about the importance of listening to the voices of those who call these lands home. Canada's $3.1 billion deal with Greenland is a carefully structured partnership, not a blank check. $1.2 billion goes to modernizing airports and seaports, connecting remote communities and boosting trade. $800 million funds joint climate research and environmental protection, tackling issues like melting glaciers and marine changes. The deal includes technology sharing for oil spill response and new marine protected areas. $600 million supports education, cultural exchange, and Indigenous language preservation, strengthening ties between Inuit communities. The agreement also invests in economic diversification, renewable energy, sustainable tourism, and fisheries, ensuring local benefits and high environmental standards. A joint commission will oversee resource projects, prioritizing transparency and community input. Canada's investment aims to help Greenland build a resilient, sustainable future beyond dependence on a few industries. Canada's partnership with Greenland stands in stark contrast to Trump's attempt to buy the island. Canada's approach is rooted in years of relationship building, treating Greenland as a partner with its own vision and agency. The $3.1 billion deal is the result of diplomacy, listening, collaborating, and finding win-win solutions. Trump's approach was unilateral, bypassing Greenlandic and Danish leaders and treating the island as a pawn in a strategic game. Canada's strategy exemplifies soft power, investing in infrastructure, science, and culture to build goodwill and alliances. Trump's method relied on hard power and failed, alienating allies and undermining U.S. credibility. In the Arctic, respect and legitimacy are as important as military might. Canada's model builds lasting bridges. Trump's approach burned them. The lesson in the Arctic: respect is a strategic necessity. The Arctic is now a central stage for global geopolitics, driven by climate change and resource demand. Melting ice is opening new shipping routes, transforming global trade and intensifying competition for control. The region holds vast untapped oil, gas, and minerals, attracting interest from powers like China and Russia. Russia is expanding its military presence, while NATO members, including Canada and Denmark, are strengthening their own Arctic capabilities. The Arctic is becoming a zone of military posturing and strategic rivalry. Canada's deal with Greenland strengthens a North American Arctic alliance, anchoring the region in a democratic, cooperative sphere. This partnership offers a counter-narrative to aggressive, transactional approaches by other powers. It shows that Arctic influence can be built through collaboration, shared values, and respect for local populations. Indigenous peoples are now central to Arctic governance, after centuries of being sidelined. The Canada-Greenland deal dedicates significant resources to empowering Inuit communities and fostering cross-border connections. Funding for cultural exchange, language preservation, and education strengthens transnational Indigenous ties. Indigenous organizations like the Inuit Circumpolar Council are shaping international Arctic policy, advocating for rights and sustainable development. The principle of nothing about us without us guides responsible Arctic policy. The agreement ensures Indigenous knowledge is integrated with Western science, leading to better solutions for climate and resource management. By respecting Indigenous leadership and co-management, the deal sets a new standard for Arctic partnerships. The future of the region will be shaped by those who call it home. The Canada-Greenland Agreement is a blueprint for a cooperative, sustainable Arctic future. It moves away from confrontational politics, embracing collaboration and mutual respect. As climate change and resource competition intensify, international cooperation will be essential for peace and stability. The deal strengthens regional governance and sets a positive example for the Arctic Council and beyond. Indigenous peoples will play a decisive role as Greenland gains autonomy and Arctic communities gain power. The model of partnership and co-management must be replicated across the region for lasting legitimacy. This landmark investment champions diplomacy over aggression and partnership over ownership. As the world's attention turns north, the principles in this deal will guide a more stable, cooperative Arctic future.